What's up guys, Nerdy Newb here, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a really short one. I just wanted to kind of give you guys some updates on some of the things. I know it hasn't been that long since I've talked to you guys because I know I live streamed last week, but this past week was definitely eventful and exciting, and I just wanted to catch you up on it. And then after this video, I'm going to do an unboxing video. So hopefully I can get these videos out to you soon. There's just a few things, and I made notes. I wrote notes, although there were some other things I was supposed to add and I forgot. You know what one of the things was? Look how out of control my eyebrows are. My facial hair is like so out of control right now. It's because everything's shut down. I should have gotten that taken care of before this all happened, but whatever, what can you do about it? Life goes on, right? So I wanted to do a quick video about the coronavirus. For those of you, well, everyone knows about the coronavirus, obviously. But the past few weeks, it's actually been 3 weeks, I've been working from home. And one of the reasons being that, one, I could work from home. I was able to, with the work that I was doing at the time, I was able to work from home and do everything from home. But two, I also became somewhat symptomatic. I started getting some symptoms and I didn't know what they were, and just to be safe, on the safe side, that was one of also the reasons why I wanted to work from home, is just to make sure that I wasn't spreading anything. And then 2 weeks passed and I still had the symptoms, and I thought that was strange. And then I got more symptoms and it just was kind of weird. So basically last week I was getting ready to go back to work because you guys know we're trying to start this homeless shelter, it's a decompression homeless shelter for work as part of a disaster service worker. That's one of our duties. And that's one of the things that have been tasked with me and my coworkers. And so that's what we've been working on. Originally it was supposed to be childcare, then it turned into this, and that's what we've been working on the past couple of weeks. And we got to the point where we were actually like setting up the facility, and you obviously cannot do that working from home. And so I was really anxious to get back to work and to be able to help out and to be there in person and do all the things. But I still had symptoms and I wasn't feeling the best. And so I made it a point to call my doctor. I called the advice nurse, who then set me up with an appointment with my doctor. And then after talking to the doctor, she presumed me positive for COVID-19 and then told me to kind of stay at home until after 72 hours after all of my symptoms have gone away. So that was scary. And I was kind of wondering, obviously she didn't see me. I wasn't tested. It was just based off the symptoms. And it was my fear because the symptoms that I had followed. I had shortness of breath. The one thing I didn't have, which is why I didn't think I had COVID-19, was I've never had a fever. My fever, or my temperature, got to like mid to high 99s at a few points in the past few weeks for like 3 to 4 days, but it never got to 100.4, which is technically when you have a fever. So I, in my mind, was like, there's no way. I did have all the other symptoms. At some point I got a sore throat, and I've been dealing with kind of breathing issues, just shortness of breath that's different than what I usually encounter in my life. And so, yeah, it was just a bunch of things. She presumed me positive, which was really scary. Once I talked to my supervisor, basically, because I'm technically an essential employee right now, I'm an essential worker trying to get this shelter up and running, I was able to get tested at the city where I work. They just had opened, literally I was the first one that got tested. It was a pop-up testing site for essential employees and people that are in the VPOP group. And so, yeah, I got tested. So then basically, I went from one day being presumed positive. The next day I got a test. I was there in the morning, and let me just tell you guys, for any of you guys who, I don't know if anyone who's watching this has been tested for COVID-19, all my friends were warning me. Like, I was talking to Amy, I talked to Ree, they were like, oh my God, they're gonna shove this giant Q-tip up your nose. Like, Amy was like, it's gonna be shoved up your nose, it's gonna go all the way to your brain, it's gonna go into your forehead. And I started getting nervous, and then they're like, you should watch videos. And I was like, no, I don't wanna watch videos, because if I watch videos, I'm gonna freak myself out. So I was like, don't watch videos. And then in the morning, I was talking to my supervisor, she's like, no, I heard that they stick a Q-tip down your throat. And I was like, oh, that's not any better, because I have a terrible gag reflex. And so I was just like nervous. And then of course I get there, and because I was the first one, and it was like literally it was kind of like a soft opening. They were still trying to work out the things, and I pulled up, and let me just tell you, they swabbed both my throat and my nose, which was awful. So it was this long Q-tip. They shoved it down my throat, which I started gagging because I gag. I don't even need anything to be touching my throat for me to gag. I could just see poop on the floor and gag because that's just how I am. So I started gagging, and then they shoved it up my nose. And let me just tell you, that was one of the most uncomfortable things that I've ever had to deal with. And luckily, it doesn't last that long. But it was really, I've never had anything shoved up my nose that far. The other thing I was worried about, and I had good reason, is that I'm very prone to bloody noses. I get bloody noses all the time, like all the time. And so I was like, oh, is this gonna like make me have a bloody nose? So they shoved it up this side. It was really uncomfortable. Then they had to shove it up this side. And this is the side that I usually get my bloody noses on. And so he pulls it out and he's like, oh, okay, we're done. And then I just felt it. It just started. And I had a mask over my face that I had like pulled down for the test. And then the blood was dripping down my face into my mask. And I was like, oh my God, I'm looking around. I have no tissue, of course. I'm like, oh, do you guys have any tissue? And like, yeah. And they walk away and they're like on the other side of my car. And I just have blood. Like I take the mask off because it's an N95 and I didn't want to waste it because those are like gold right now. And so I tried to take it off, but it was too late. Blood was already in there. I should have just left it on. But I was also wearing my Hamilton sweatshirt, and I was like, no, don't get blood on my Hamilton sweatshirt. So I'm like, trying to tilt my head forward because they say you're supposed to tilt your head forward. And I'm like looking over, I roll my window down on the other side, like, hey, do you guys have any napkins? Like, yeah. And they're like staring at me, and I've got blood all over my hands and my face. And then literally then she comes back because she had to give me these papers. And then she was like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, yes. And so luckily there was some police that were there, and they were, I think, watching this whole situation go down, and then they brought me a box of tissues, which was really great because I literally drove away I was so traumatized, and I had blood all over my hands, blood all over my face, and yeah. So that wasn't great. So then that day happened, and I was really anxious, and luckily it's one of the new tests that only takes 24 hours. And great news, the next day I got a notification that I don't have COVID-19. So I'm really excited about that. It was like funny because I was kind of like, not funny, but like, oh, I hope I'm negative, because in my mind it was like, well, one, I just want to be negative, but two, it's like, if I'm positive, does that mean I have to do that again to prove that I'm not positive anymore? Or like, I don't know, all the thoughts were going through my head. So it was a really rough few days for me. And now, of course, I'm like, well, I don't have COVID-19, but what the heck is wrong with me? Because I still have symptoms of something, obviously, but I'm trying to work through those because I really want to go back to work. I'm hoping that the shortness of breath, maybe it's because I've been at home for 3 weeks working in my room and not really moving that much, and maybe my body is just tired in general. I'm hoping that's what it is. So I'm excited to, once I, know that everything's good, or for the most part know everything's good, go back to work. So anyways, that was that, and that was really intense. It was just one of those things, like, it's really scary, and then it's like relieving, and then I don't know. It's just all the things, guys. It's hard to explain, but it was just one of those things that made the week very interesting for me. The other thing that made it interesting was WonderCon. WonderCon happened. I don't even know what WonderCon is, but they released all these pops, and there are these pops that I wanted, and I got the notification on Friday I didn't even realize, I haven't been keeping up with releases. I try not to because it hurts my wallet. This one hurt my wallet. I got the email from Funko saying, hey, we're releasing these things, and I didn't look at the time. So in my mind, I was like, oh, they're releasing at 11 o'clock, like they normally do. And then at 7:05, I got a notification from my Twitter from, I think it was Disc Pops and Funko Finders, like, oh, they're up. And I'm like, what? So I tried to jump on there really quick, and then I was like really overwhelmed and pressing all the add to cart things. And by the time I got to checkout, I don't even know honestly, I don't even know what I added. It just I just was like blindly adding things. By the time I got to the checkout and it was my turn, they had sold out of both the Flock Pichu and Eevee and the Boba Fett, the Target shared exclusive Boba Fett. So that's sad, but it's okay. I ended up with Rainbow Trolls and then a lot of Funko Soda figures, which is actually what I really wanted the most. Like, they had the, what did they have? Was it Fruit Brute? I don't know what it was, but the ones that I really wanted, I did get some other ones too, just because, again, I was just blindly adding things to my cart. I don't even know what was happening. I was just pressing things and hoping that they added. Yeah, they had Fruit Brute, they had the Yummy Mummy, and so I got those ones, and I think I got the Skeletor one. And yeah, I missed out on the shirt, which is actually one of the ones I really wanted, but it's okay, it happens. I never get the shirts. I don't think they make that many of them. But good news is that later in the day, Target restocked. And I happened to be lucky. They restocked like 5 times, but I happened to be lucky the one time that they had restocked to add a couple to my cart and pay for them. That was cool. And then last night, Hot Topic released the Flucked Eevee, so I got that. And then this morning, FYE released the Flucked Pichu. So all in all, those are probably going to have the shared sticker, which is okay. Hopefully the ones from the Funko shop have the con sticker, which just makes it more exciting, but who knows? I got what I wanted at the end of the day. It all worked out, so that's cool, and I'm happy about that. And then, yeah, I think just a few other things. There's just been, as life normally happens, everything kind of gets thrown at all of us at once, right? Isn't that what happens? But there's just been a lot of things that have changed. I mean, just this whole coronavirus thing, my whole job has completely imploded and changed to something completely different. Like what we are normally doing and what we are normally doing right now, prepping for summer, has completely gone out the window, and we are completely focused on this completely separate thing. And that in general for me has been challenging because work is my life. It's what, YouTube is fun and it's my hobby and I love doing it. But work has always been my life. I take it very seriously, and it translates. It translates into my life. Like it shouldn't, but it does. And so I think just the changes that have come from that alone have been difficult, not let alone 1, being sick, and 2, not leaving the house. Like there's just been a lot of changes. And then a few days ago, Chris and Soren, Jackson and Maverick moved out because they got their house, and that has been, an adjustment, of course, as well, because luckily they're very close to me, but it's just been an adjustment to, you go for 8 months having people always around to like then just having Mac around, which I don't know if I've had time to process it as much, to be honest. I'm sure at some point, I really miss Lilo, which was their dog. I really miss Lilo a lot. I miss them too, but I miss Lilo a lot. Because he used to always just come every morning. He would come into my room, jump on the bed. Him and Mac would have a stare down, and then they would just both lay down and go to sleep. And so I definitely missed that. But yeah, so there's just been a lot of things happening, and I really want to take the time this weekend to try to clean up this space and do all the things that I've been trying to do. I know I've been saying that for literally 4 years now, almost 4 years. Honestly, in May, I'm going to be 5 years on YouTube. It's crazy. That's another thing too. I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. So yeah, there's just things, and I know everyone else is struggling with probably very similar things, and I just wanted to update you guys and let you guys know what's been going on, because I also haven't been posting videos consistently. Even though I'm working from home, I thought that would make me post videos more consistently, but it definitely hasn't, and then I just wasn't feeling the greatest last week. So yeah, all right, well, that's all I want to tell you guys. Short, not that short, but kind of short. I hope that all of you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope that everyone's staying healthy. And for those of you who are having to work on the front line, nurses, doctors, police, fire, grocery store workers, because oh my gosh, you guys, I can't even, Chris and Soren work for Trader Joe's, so it's like, I just can't even, it's just, I mean, that's already crazy, but it's even crazier now. And so, yeah, for all of you guys who are out there, please make sure you guys are staying safe. I am hopefully soon going to be right there with you once we get this, once I can get back to work and we get the shelter up and running. But yeah, just, I wish everybody the most well wishes that I can. It's been a really hard time, I know, for a lot of people, and just even work-wise and financially, I just know it's going to be crazy, and who knows what this is going to look like once we recover from this. I think it's going to take a long time to recover, but like once this ends, like what is that going to look like? I don't know, but it's definitely going to be challenging. So yeah, just preparing for that mentally as well. All right, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. I'm hoping to post this today, so it's Saturday. I found my purple parachute. Very excited about it. All right. I wish you guys the best of days, and I hope you guys are having a great time with your family. It's one cool thing, though, that you get to like stay at home and hang out with family. I'm sure that's a good thing and a bad thing, but who knows. Alright, I am going to film some unboxing videos so I can post those. But thank you guys for all of your continued support. I appreciate it greatly. And yeah, have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye!